Okay, hello. This is my second take. So hello, Professor Exoo. You didn't know that, but I am letting you know that I had my mic up here, which completely destroyed my audio. So it was about a 20-minute video. We're gonna re-upload. Hopefully, I can condense that down into 10 minutes. It doesn't take as long. But regardless, let's start here. So I have this is my README for my March 13th assignment. Yeah. Let me hold on. Before we get into this, let me first say what I said at the beginning of the last video. I'm going to try to be honest with this statement here. Um, you are retiring soon. I'm very thankful for what you have kind of given me as far as what you've taught me. Screw you for my final year of undergrad. I will say that was the hardest year of my life by far. I've done a few minor things. I've done the military. I've done basic training. I've done sports. I've done school. Obviously, I'm doing masters now. I've worked for some cool companies. I've moved around a lot. But by far, those two classes specifically. I don't remember what the class was. This is around 2016. I had to write a line-based operating system for Unix/Linux. Um, that piped commands, all that stuff. I remember just grinding that out, staying up. I was working at Applebee's at the time, working as a line cook, and then staying up and working there until 11 at night, and then staying up until 2, 3 in the morning to finish those assignments. I was stressed. I didn't think I would graduate. I ended up graduating. I ended up having a very successful life, but fuck, I hated that year. So screw you and thank you. You were the hardest part of that year by far. You had a very big impact on me, and the screw you is in jest. I hope you understand that. The thank you is not a brown nose. That is the truth. You have impacted my life, at least in some way. I would say in a decent way. I'm definitely going to remember that assignment for the rest of my life, I think, or in the end of that year of school, at least for the rest of my life. So I know you're retiring. It's probably going to be good for a few years, but then most people hit a wall and feel like shit, like they're not having an impact or some dumb stuff like that, very dumb thoughts, but it happens to everybody. Please know when those happen to you, you did have an impact on me. So that's something. Um, I'll talk more about it when we're actually running the shit. I think I did in the last video. We'll see if we do it here. Anyway, README. Here's the README for my assignment. Um, most of this stuff, I think it's very familiar. I had to do very little here. The main thing I had to do was gain an understanding of shapes. I don't want to take too much time, so let me get into it. The first thing I did is I made this digit reader function. So, is it capital or no? No, it is not. Here, my program assumes that all these files are in the local directory. I copied those over. I don't know if I was supposed to or not, but I did. So I open all those up, unpack everything. Most of this stuff is from you. I've just moved it around. I've created a second set for the testing images and labels, and then I'm running through and just creating those images and importing them into Torch. Torch is already installed for this video, so we aren't going to go through that. But here we go. We have train images 2, reshaping everything into how it's supposed to be reshaping. Here I had to do some stripping just based on the formatting. That wasn't you, that was me, so that's pretty cool. Labels, stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. And then eventually I save it here into trainimages.npy, train labels, all of that stuff, all .npy. So if we go into here and we ls just to see, there's none in there. I can run Python. And then I can run my digit reader. And then we need Torch, but like I said, already installed. This will create those files that we're going to be using later. So I'm running that now. And here are the structure of those things. So 60,000 by 784, and then 60,000, right? So these 784 is the pictures, right? 24 by 24, I believe, and then 1 bit, I believe, for the labels. This is done. Let's ls just to prove that it's there. And as you can see, test images, test labels, train images, train labels. So those are all there. Next up, I'm going to walk through some of the changes that we made. The first change that we made is to train images, train labels. The first change that we made is to the network class. Again, not a lot of changes had to be made here. Change the values in current net.py. To work with the new image/array sizes. So let's take a look at that. Current net.py. So nothing too crazy. I have a 784 into 100 and then 100 into a 10. So 784 into 100 and then 100 into a 10. This 10 is, of course, as you know, representation of 0 through 9. We're going to get out of that. And then we're going to go into, what else do we have over here? Next is current data set. So I've changed the way arrays are loaded, as well as changes and added an argument to work with the new data file. So let's go look at that. Current data set. So here we're just loading stuff, temp, file name, and then we should have a second one. Yep, answers, file name 2. Nothing too crazy going on here, and then the arguments up here. I added file name and file name 2. So one is going to be the images and one is going to be the labels. We'll see that used later in the tester function, but it's really not that impactful. It just makes my life easier, which is the whole point of software engineering, right? So current data set. And then a training program, no major changes, so I'll show it to you. But thanks to the changes I made in data set network and by structures, I really didn't have to change this file at all, as far as I know. I think I changed some print statements, and that's it, man. I don't think anything else really changed. Yeah, since I changed the arguments, the default arguments held. And if the default arguments hold, nothing has to change. So as far as I know, besides those print statements, I don't think there's really any changes. And then we'll go into this tester. So this is my tester function. This still has that adios print statement. Here you can see where I'm changing those arguments to work with the test images and labels as opposed to the training images and labels. Batch size equals 40, loader equals data loader, blah, 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 blah. You know what all this is doing because you wrote it. And then at the end we print out right, wrong, rate, and then of course I print out the right array and the wrong array. That way you can see exactly what got messed up. The first time when I was running this for myself today, the 2s and the 3s got mixed up, I'm assuming, and the 9s and the 7s got mixed up, right? I was explaining to you in my first take that I was a little surprised the 5s weren't higher missed. I ran this the second time, and it turns out the 5s were higher missed, and the 2s and 3s got mixed up a little bit. But you can kind of see where images with the same structure, with similar structure to other images, are what gets missed on a little bit more. So I thought that was cool. And then, okay, so we went over the changes that I made. Now let's actually run stuff, right? So Python, let's first run our trainer. So we're going to train. This will go through, and just like the program you wrote, first we'll output the shapes and the structures. I'm just trying to gain an understanding of what all that stuff was, what was being passed, and then it's going to go print through right and wrong. Before I was getting up to about 98%. I think it was like 2 points away from getting 98. I got 97, and then I got 95 on the testing. So we're in the mid-90s to high 90s most of the time towards the end. As you can see, we're starting out in these 74s. So this is going to take a little while. I think the last one took 20. I'm going to walk, I guess, yeah, I'll talk about kind of my career path or trajectory, right? You can skip through this if you want. You can just go to the end where shit is done running and save yourself some time. But in case you don't want to do that and watch it run, I'll talk a little bit while it's going on. Indiana State has given me, I know it's like people talk about it like it's not a high-tier school or whatever. They can go fuck themselves. Indiana State has given me plenty. I have a great career path. I'm making more money than most people I know. I'm very successful. I think a large part of that is thanks to my parents and thanks to the natural intelligence that I have. But I think another big part of that is thanks to the degree that I have. So I'm very thankful to Indiana State. I'm very thankful to Professor Exoo. I'm very thankful to Kenny, and I'm very thankful to Arash. Kenny has just been a guiding force through the degree program, which I'm very thankful for. Exoo, like I said, you kind of off-balance the other kind of easy professors that were in the CS department. They, don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for too. But you are the yin to the yang, or the yang to the yin, I guess. You are the evil force that helps to balance out the good force. And by that, I mean you're not, of course, evil, but you are very, very difficult. And I contemplate if I'm going to pass or not every time I take one of your classes. I sent Kenny an email when I was contemplating taking this class. He told me that you were going to retire. And what I said... he said, "What do you think you should do?" Because I was scared of taking your class, if I'm being honest. And my response was, he should forward you this email, is I think I should stop being a pussy and just take your class, essentially. I know I said I should not be a pussy, but I don't remember what else I said. But that is the truth. Your classes are that scary, but they also contain that much growth. So that's why I ended up wanting to take it anyway. And I feel like I did get some growth, and I got some understanding. And I definitely have, I don't have an understanding of the integral mechanics that are kind of working with machine learning to create intelligence, but I have an understanding of the overall mechanics that are happening, right? Like I know that the arm is shifting, I just don't know what is causing that arm to shift, right? I understand that weights are feeding into values which are changing what is weighted, and but I don't necessarily understand the calculus behind that, and I don't necessarily understand the inner workings, the calculus behind that. So yeah, I definitely got some growth out of this class. Thank you. And I got growth from Kenny back in the day, and I got growth from Arash. Arash was a big force too. So I'm very thankful for the program. I'm very thankful for you. Like I said, I'm not trying to brown nose. Fuck that. Give me the grade that I deserve. That is what I want. But um, when you're old and I think this is going to happen to all of us when we retire. When I look at my grandparents who have retired about 10 years ago, they're going through something similar now, right? Where they feel undervalued, they feel like they're not producing anything, yada, yada, yada. Trust me, you put in your time, those thoughts are going to come. They come for everybody, it seems. You put in your time, and I'm very thankful for the work that you put in. So bookmark this video if you want. You come back and watch it, but that's the truth. I'm making a fuck ton of money, and I'm a relative amount of fuck ton of money. I don't make fuck you money, but I make 6 figures, which was my dad's goal when he was like 50. His goal for us was to have an income as a family of 6 figures, right? Which he was able to make happen in his 50s. I have done that now when I'm 30. I'm very thankful again for my father for giving me that cadence. So I'm hoping with this master's degree and shit like that, my trajectory stays positive. And ever since I got this degree, I'm just kind of getting handed shit, man. I was handed my jobs. I had a job with the DoD straight out of school where I was working as a Java web page developer on their payroll system. I took that job. I turned that into a PAC 3 job at Lockheed Martin, working on their missile defense system. I worked with some physicists. They brought me math, and I turned that into computer code. That was a very cool job. Very thankful there. Turned that into a full stack engineering position, which I'm not super into. Still at Lockheed Martin was the job. But it was more IT than it was CS. Wasn't super into that, but it was still, I'm thankful for the people that I worked with. But then I turned that into the job that I currently have, which is a middleware developer. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but I can say it's not super difficult, but it's not super easy either. I feel like as long as I'm nice to people, thanks to the degrees that I have and my proven track record, I have an upward trajectory, and I fail upwards continuously. So, yeah. That's where I'm at. Again, I say that not to brag, but to say thank you. This degree gave me an upward trajectory, and I'm hoping the master's will do the same. And fingers crossed, I can get a doctorate myself. That would be badass. Yeah, I want to be a smart motherfucker and a bad motherfucker at the same time. So we'll see if that happens. Whew. All right, we just finished up. So it just finished running. As you can see, like I said, we finished with about a 97. This was slightly lower than when we were before. So before I had like a 97.8, and that translated into a 95.6. So we'll see what this translates into. We'll run the tester on the last 10,000, and we'll see. We'll see what values we get. I'm assuming the 2s, the 3s, and the 5s will get mixed up, and the 9s and the 7s will get mixed up. And those are assumptions. I don't have anything to tell me what actually is. So out of those 10,000, we got 356 wrong, which translates to a 96%. So I think that's higher, actually, than where I was before. I think I was, like I said, mid-95s before. So that's cool. A little bit of noise. And then here we've got 0, 1, 2 is a 40. Wow, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so that's different. I'm curious what's causing this to spike. This makes sense to me, the 5s, the 2s, and I figured the 3s, but the 4s are actually higher. So maybe the 4s are getting mixed up with the 9s, and look at that, the 9s are at 60. That's the highest I've had so far, at 57, but still the highest. I'm guessing that's what's happening. The 9s and the 4s must be getting confused. That's interesting. But we still do see that spike in 7, which makes sense to me because 7 fits so naturally with both 1 and 9, I think. It's like that in between, right? So yeah, I'm not sure what 8's getting mixed up with. That's a 40, which I haven't seen before. What would 8 look like? I have no idea. Anyway, this is everything running. This is where I'm at. It's like it's 5/3/2023, which I think is May. Let me do it in my head. January, February, March, April. Yeah, it's May. So May 3rd, 2023, I am 31 years old, and I'm very thankful for this. I think this is going to be a small time capsule for me in the future, so hopefully it has some purpose for you, but I'm hoping it has some purpose for me. Professor Exoo, thank you. I love you. Future Tyler, thank you. I love you. Past Tyler, thank you. I love you. Same to my father, of course. Thank you. I love you. And everyone in my life. Yeah. Cool class. Very cool class. Working on this final. Hopefully I don't get destroyed. I am currently getting destroyed. This is what I'm trying to implement in my final, but it is very hard. I can't conceptually understand how how to how to feed it what is right and what is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah. Thank you very much and have a good one. Bye-bye.